want to talk about Nanking cherries here for a minute. An awesome, just definitely our winter cherry, and really our only winter cherry. Prunus in general is pretty unreliable here where we are for various reasons. Pest, I think climate as well, for sure. I tend to be prone to cambial blow up in the winter if you don't keep painting the trunks white. The plum curculio nails prunus in a big way here, especially if you're by woods, which most of us are. And yeah, and they're also a big tree, so they don't just fit everywhere in the landscape. Now these Nanking cherries, here's 1, 2, 3. They're just a large shrub, which is the best size of a plant for edible landscaping. I mean, you can't beat like a plant that finishes out at like 6 by 6, 7 by 7, 8 by 8. You can reach it all without a ladder. It fits in a lot of places. It's a great little visual screen and hedge. So it's a very multifunctional landscape, whereas a larger tree, especially in zone 1, just doesn't have as many functions. It's multi-stemmed too, so the whole cambial explosions due to winter sap freeze doesn't seem to be an issue at all. It's totally pest free as far as we can tell so far. They get loaded, as you can see. A couple of chipmunks have already been harvesting off of this bush for a week plus, and I have too. And there's, in seconds you can get handfuls. Very quickly, we've already been freezing a couple gallons of these. We mostly eat seasonally more and more every year. I don't even want fruit in the winter, really. So I freeze less and less every winter, but we make meads. We gorge on them this time of year. And we'll make some like seltzers, and we're going to work on some lacto-fermented seltzers actually soon for some winter refreshing drink and, just to get a little nice summer nutrient in the winter. But these things have been definitely a top of the list plant that we've been grateful that we started planting about 10 years ago, and they have only had one issue as far as I can tell, is after about 8 years, we've been probably planting this for about 12 years, after about 6 to 8, what we found is they sometimes just stop bearing, somewhat inexplicably. They're prunus, so they're not very long-lived, so that might be one explanation. They're thicket forming a little bit, not like an American plum, but you can get some runners to start shooting up. You want that. Any of these plants that are short-lived and tend to form thickets, there's a reason for it. Work with that force, because the main plant will die out, and if you don't allow that to happen, you'll lose the plant. And so that's kind of how they keep living over, potentially indefinitely, and keep producing. So let it run a little bit, let it form a slight thicket of awesomeness, and promote the thicket forming if you can with some spading at the base, and or keep planting them in succession. We're saving a lot of seed this year to do that. I haven't actually planted them from seed. I've just dug runner shoots. But I think they should grow from seed, no problem. They may need some stratification or even scarification. I'm not really sure. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to look into it. It shouldn't be too hard. And yeah, they've been just a beautiful plant, self-pruning. They're just a gorgeous landscape shrub. When I've seen them in the landscape at large, it's mostly just they're planted ornamentally, and the people whose landscape they're in don't even know they're edible, oftentimes. And they're a sweet sour cherry, so they taste really good fresh eating. They're not a huge cherry. They're not like some big Bing cherry, but we can't really grow those without a lot of inputs anyways here. So these things have wild vigor, for sure. They're seedling plants, so they're evolving with your landscape. They're not clones. There's room for dozens of these in your average rural landscape. They have a pit, you can see right here. That's the fruit. Sweet sour, really good fresh. Not, don't have a lot of tannins or anything for brewing, but we mix them with black currants and they're great for meads. They add a nice flavor. They freeze really well, just straight. And this year the birds do tend to get them. I mean, they're red fruit, but the waxwings took all of our honeyberries, and I guess have finally left happy, and they're not around to destroy every one of these. Nanking cherry, prunus tomentosa.